Thank you for joining us today for this exciting new chapter in New Mexico. I'd like to do a few thank yous before we kick it off. First and foremost, I'd like Amber Dodson to stand up and all of the people that are part of our film office. Thank you so much for everything you do, for bringing together this community. I'd like to thank our consortium education partners. You see them set up back there. I'm going to go ahead and list them off for you. CNM, Doña Ana Community College, Eastern New Mexico University, ENMU Roswell, Highlands University, Luna Community College, New Mexico Junior College, NMSU Grants, Northern New Mexico College, San Juan College, Santa Fe Community College, UNM Fine Arts, UNM Taos, and UNM Valencia. Yeah, give them all a hand. Thank you. We'd like to thank our legislators here. I know we saw Senator Pope. Are you here? Raise your hand. There you are. Thank you so much for being here. Thank you so much to our Higher Education Secretary, Stephanie Rodriguez, for being here. We'd like to thank our city councilors, specifically Isaac Benton, I think, is here. Are you here? No, you are SVP, but thank you. Thank you to city councilors. Thank you to our Rail Yards Advisory Board. We really need to thank Albuquerque Economic Development, Max Gruner, for everything you're doing, and the team here. Where are you, Max? There you are, way in the back. We have our CNM board members. You want to raise your hands? Thank you for being here. We have our film partners here, Netflix, NBCU, and 828 Productions. Thank you for being here. So it's fitting that we're here at the Albuquerque Rail Yards, a site that has been home to the transformation of Albuquerque throughout the years, to celebrate one of the future chapters of both the city and the state. At the turn of the century, the rail yards became home to a transformative industry in Albuquerque that established downtown and employed up to 25% of the city's workforce. But as steam engines were replaced by diesel, the rail yards were witnesses to this changing times, with rail job cuts and the landscape of the city changing. Just as the rail yards has marked the city's industrial development, it also marked decline, but no longer. The Albuquerque Rail Yards are experiencing new life, which is why we are gathered here today. To tell us about the newest phase of the rail yards, I'd like to welcome our governor, a leader dedicated to diversifying our state's economy and strengthening the state's qualified workforce, and a true champion of New Mexico film and television. Under her leadership, New Mexico's film and television industry has continued to grow by leaps and bounds, hitting record new highs in direct spending, which means New Mexico's crews employed and local businesses are keeping busy. And she has spearheaded historic investments in education that allow New Mexico students to go to school for their dream careers without having to spend a dime, ensuring opportunity growth for communities all across the state. Please join me in welcoming Governor Michelle Lujan Grisham.
Oh, I love that she didn't put my apple box down and made the mayor do it. I've been torturing the mayor. That's why we're late. He was actually late, and it's usually me. And any time I can torture him, I take advantage of that aspect. And that may seem silly, and what does that have to do with why we're here? But in fact, when you have a struggling economy, which we do not, and when we each have significant issues that we're all addressing, it doesn't really breed either in the private sector or the public sector cooperation and collaboration. It actually does the opposite. You would assume, I did for most of my public career, that when it really gets tough, you sort of line up. And too often, the experience is just the opposite. People get very closed about what they have, they're worried about tomorrow, and they just don't move out of those familiar boxes. But that's not the case in New Mexico. And it's not been the case with any number of leaders, many of whom are represented today, who were very clear that if we are going to continue the kind of incredible growth in film, that we do much better by working together. And that is true of the city of Albuquerque. It is absolutely true with all of our higher education partners. It is true with everyone who's been concerned about how we can make appropriate investments in this historic area in the state. And it's never been more true than when our film partners work together and are part of not just the effort in the New Media Academy, but are actually shaping and spending their own resources on that curriculum, collaboration, and those sets of investments. That's why we're so bullish, not just about the announcement today, which I promise I will get to, but more that it will create not just a continuation of our economic ecosystem and our dedication to film, but it's going to create new innovative entrepreneur opportunities in this growing area in the city, and it will inspire many other communities and mayors to think about ways to lean in and expand it. This is the #1 industry that local communities ask me and ask everyone who's attending here today to help them sort of achieve the same sort of environment. I love seeing 828 here in Las Cruces, because I will tell you that when I was running for governor in 2018, there wasn't very many New Mexicans who believed that we would have real film partners who would be in Albuquerque, Santa Fe, Las Cruces, Las Vegas, Raton, and would really not just sort of invest on a production, but have a sustainable platform with real skin in the game for the long haul, just like you do in Las Cruces, just like NBC Universal, just like Netflix has here, and just like that expansive effort. Being a small state means that we have some challenges. I was just talking to a former senator, colleague of yours, former Senator Clint Hardin from Clovis, who wants us to, he was advising me about any number of ways to connect the workforce. And I said, one tough part is we need about 250,000 more workers. But getting there means showcasing what we do well and connecting all of the dots, so that we've got a school with the right curriculum, where we're paying you when you are doing an apprenticeship or an internship, where you're revitalizing an area that produces creativity. You will not only create a ready workforce, you will inspire the next generation of workers, which is exactly what we need. I want New Mexicans to feel inspired. I want the other states to be worried. California, Georgia, talking to you, talking to New Jersey, be worried. We want folks who can afford to live here, grow here, raise a family, and who have access to the kind of collaboration that means that you have the world-class education opportunities that aren't better anywhere in the world. They're happening right here. So today, you are all gathered, and I was only supposed to speak for 2 seconds because it's cold. I refuse to take my coat off. But I'm all about cold because it means it will preserve water. So if you could bring some more rain and some more clouds and keep it cold till August, I'd be really happy. This is the space of the New Mexico Media Academy right here. So we are announcing that 40 million, and the secretary doesn't like me to say 40, she wants me to say 20. But we have 40 million that's allocated that's going to require investments in a variety of places. But make no mistake, we will do whatever it takes. So Senator, you might have to get us some more money. I'm thinking about another 15, 20 mil. If I could just get you on the hook for that right now, that would be great. That's the only reason we invite you. Is I need the money. And the same to the city council. I want your money. I keep giving it to you, give it back. That's how it works. It's a return on investment. That's why you're here. C&M, bring me the students and bring me all your money too. Don't mess around. Because when we put it all together, this becomes an incredible space. It's already being used today as an incredible space for creativity. And New Mexico should be not just known for film, that we have the best economic opportunities, however those present themselves. And there is, in fact, no wrong door. So thank you to the film partners who are putting skin in the game and helping us with the curriculum. I want to do a big thanks to higher education. I don't know if you know anything about higher education, but they're hideous to boss. They don't boss. You can't boss them. It's you. You guys are the regents. You're the worst. They do that because it must be an academically accredited body. If you allow a politician, the mayor and me, to develop that, you aren't going to get the right end results. You're not going to have a high quality education. I mean, maybe you'd be better at it than I am, or maybe it's reversed. But you need the people who know what the workforce needs to know. And if you don't have that, then it doesn't have the same success rate. To do that, that takes a very proactive, productive environment in higher education. And the reason it's going to work so well here is that's who we have as higher education partners. They are clear about investing in this workforce and collaborating with any number of experts. That's an incredible asset, and I guarantee you we don't have that leadership all across the country. We have it here, and I am really grateful. And last, I want to thank, actually, even though I just teased Senator Pope. Look, we have record public investments in all of the right places. And being able to announce that New Mexico's leading the country, not just in this area and in this work, but now universal meals for kids with scratch cooking and investments in infrastructure and healthy meals, creating a pipeline, pre-K, childcare, free college, more is coming. And you know why we can do that? Because these efforts are successful. They're incredibly successful. And you want a strong workforce for the future? Give people the kind of work they want to do. Empower them, inspire them, support them. I'm really excited about this work, and since there was no shout out to Secretary Keyes, how about a shout out to the nation's best economic development secretary, So, congratulations to all of our partners. Thank you for including me today, and thank you very much for letting me be a little long-winded. I hope that my enthusiasm shines through. Thanks again.
We'll let the mayor get the apple box again. Just as I had a second to breathe during the governor's speech, I also just spotted the amount of people that are here that have been here for the last 16, 18 years, starting this business, nurturing this business, loving the people in this community. So I just wanted a shout out to our whole film community that is here. As the governor alluded to, C&M is here. They just happen to be doing a shoot today, which is fantastic. We're not sure if they have, we're not sure if they have a permit, but it doesn't care today. We don't care today. Welcome. I also just wanted to say thank you to Lawrence Rael, who has been a partner, a mentor of mine for years, and also to Samantha Senegal and to Mateo Frazier, who really helped us gather all of our consortium partners and put together a fantastic curriculum that we will use to move forward and collaborate with. Our next speaker is the mayor of Albuquerque, whose administration has put blood, sweat, and tears into revitalizing the rail yards and transforming it into a welcoming space that is valued by the community. The mayor's leadership has seen the completion of the beautiful plaza space outside and record growth in sales at the rail yard market. He had a vision for this space many years ago. As some of you know, we used to be at the beach water park when we were like 13 and 14 together. He was a tube shack boy, and I was his mentor as a deep water guard. So I'm really happy to be here today, mentoring my mentee, or maybe it's the other way around. We're so grateful to have the City of Albuquerque as our critical partner and the mayor. So please help me in welcoming Albuquerque Mayor Tim Keller.
Thank you. Oh, there's nothing like those memories of being a tube boy. Nothing sounds like leadership than being a tube boy at the beach water park. Yeah, former tube boy. But I will tell you, it was one of the most amazing summer experiences any youth could have. I mean, let me tell you, if you did not work at the beach water park, you missed out because it was awesome. So we should talk more about the beach another time, because there's even a Facebook site dedicated to this where you can see old pictures of Alicia and I, and it's really fun. But, I will say this, as much as half of you have no idea what we're talking about because you're too young, the other half of you know exactly what we're talking about. The irony is that is not dissimilar to this project in the rail yards. Every single New Mexican will know about the Film Academy run by C&M right here in the Albuquerque Rail Yards. This is that big of a deal for our state. This is something that all of our children will grow up, just like we know C&M and we know UNM as part of the fabric of New Mexico. All of our children will know about this Film Academy. And I have to believe so will all of the children in California who are going to come move here because they don't have this in California. So this is a huge deal. And I want to take a moment to thank some folks and tell a few stories, because this really is something special. As much amazing work as the governor and the state does, and hopefully at the city we do, it is not every day we announce a $40 million new higher educational academy in anywhere. So this is special. So I want to take a moment to unpack a little bit of that. First, let me say they were mentioned before, but we had took 2 CAOs to get this project done. One was here for like 4 mayors, and the other one was here for 3 mayors. One, of course, is Lawrence Rael, who's dedicated largely part of his life to this building. And he's back there. Give him a round of applause again. And the other one is a real hidden gem. We're talking deep state material here. Is Ed Adams floating around? He's in the back, former CAO. We hired him back to run this project for us. Thank you, Ed. So if you look at the plaques that no one looks at, unless your name might be on it, if you look at the plaques all over the city of Albuquerque, there's a contest between Lawrence and Ed about who has their name on the most plaques. So, it's a tie. This isn't going to move either of you on this one. But thank you to all of your work on this. And also, of course, look, Jane's Construction, they did a bunch of work on this. We should thank them as well. And I want to share with you, I think, take us back to a couple of places in our history. First and foremost, I want to emphasize the importance of film. Film came here fundamentally because of who we are as New Mexicans. Now, it might have been marginally exploitative early on. It was because of our diverse population and that old era of sort of, cowboy and Indian film. But that's why originally film came here. It was for our scenery, right, and our diverse population. And we still have that here today. But we see essentially a crossroads of that legacy erupting into the largest high-growth industry in the state of New Mexico. And the film industry for us is an example of, I do believe there will be studies at business schools, where they're like, well, there was Silicon Valley, and then there was, Austin had the tech scene involved, and then Albuquerque birthed Tamalewood. That is going to be a chapter in some history books. I believe that. And I believe that because our challenge in the modern era was making this industry actually, generated and homegrown here. And we've done so much to do that. But this academy will actually institutionalize the film industry on top of the employers, right? The Netflix and the NBC Universal and everyone else in between. And so for us, this is the next chapter in a long chapter. But this is a transformational chapter in the film industry for New Mexico, and I believe what will be the film industry in the rest of the country. Now, that also brings me to Alicia. Look, I think we have to say, I was thinking about this today because I don't like to exaggerate, but I do think there has been no other singular person who has done more for the film industry than Alicia Keys. So let's give her a round of applause. And look, as she acknowledged, that's actually a pretty high bar, because a lot of you have done a whole lot for the film industry. But when you think about when she used to work at the city, and we got Netflix to come here, and then NBC Universal, and this, and everything in between.
Wait, she was working at the state when that happened.
Not Netflix, but NBC Universal.
The deal was signed when I stole it, so can you believe that?
That's a good segue to the next person I want to thank. So, I will say this: consider the governor's remarks, and look up at this roof. Look down at this cement floor. Look out at that courtyard. This is all because of our governor. We sat here 6 years ago in that room, and I tore up the contract for the rail yards. And everyone cheered. Everyone's like, wow, we got the rail yards back. And, they're like, so what are you going to do with it? We had no vision. We had no idea what we were going to do with the rail yards. But we knew we were going to do it on our terms. And we also knew that it meant asking for help. We were not going to depend on what was the old model, which was an out-of-state company to save us. And so I remember when the governor first got elected, she said, this is amazing. What do you need? And I was like, money for the rail yards right away. And among other things like homelessness and crime. But I will tell you, she has committed to this project from day one in her administration. And it's true, state funding is what her capital outlay funded the roof and the floor and the courtyard out there. Now, I know city council has helped, our legislators have also helped, but look, when you work with the governor, you get an extra 0 on the end of every allocation. And so that matters a lot. And so we are talking about now 10 million plus investment from her administration into the rail yards. And so for that, we are extremely grateful. This never would have happened without these two women next to me. Thank you so much. So let me wrap up with a little bit about just what this means for our city. And I want to share with you that I said we had no vision, we had no plan for this. But we did know this, we were going to do it on our own terms. And we're going to try a bunch of different things. So this announcement should come as no surprise because it's been talked about and worked with in the community for a long time. But it also took some other partners that were absolutely critical. And, I remember another day over in that building, and it was freezing cold, and the board was here from C&M, and we were shivering, and COVID had just happened. I think it was one of the last events before COVID. It was a Armageddon-like atmosphere, being in one of these buildings before the roof was fixed, and literally the rain's dripping on our head, and we announced an MOU that we're gonna work together to save the rail yards. I don't even think anyone went. I don't even know if the media even covered it because everyone was talking about the pandemic. But we decided that we wanted to partner with someone who had the same approach we did, an approach that actually was okay with the uncertainty of not knowing the outcome. But what we said is, let's partner first, and then let's figure out our lives together going forward. And C&M actually agreed to that, which is awesome. And so it was a leap of faith, hand in hand, off the stage. So I'm grateful for C&M. I do think there are very few institutions, not to name any specifically, but very few with the courage, right, and the guts to actually do that. And so thank you, CNM, to the board who was there as a part of that, also to all the students who are here. We're so grateful to be partnering with CNM. So lastly, this neighborhood. I want to take us back to also where we're at. We're in Barelas. We've mentioned how important this was, that it used to, essentially a quarter of our workforce lived right in Barelas and worked here. And everyone has said that, we have to make sure that we do this in a way that is in the spirit of our city. And I think we saw some ideas that didn't work. We're not going to talk about those. But I think this one has achieved a rare consensus, that this is a way we can push forward, where we can honor things like bringing in workforce from out of state, because this is a great place to live and a great place to do business, but also recruiting our own and training our own. That's fundamentally what CNM does. And also an acknowledgement that the film industry is so wonderfully flexible. It doesn't necessarily require some higher degree, doesn't necessarily require a specific set of training. There's so much room with respect to the apprenticeship model and entrepreneurship. It's a wonderful industry that really can utilize both this neighborhood and downtown and the city of Albuquerque. And so this project is going to bring now, when it's done, hundreds of people right here every single day. This will finally be the catalyst for downtown. It will be the catalyst, I believe, for Albuquerque, and in many ways parts of all central New Mexico and the rest of the state. So for us, I think we got it right. It took us 5 years. It took us a mix of $40 million from all sorts of places, but we are ready to go, and we are going to lift up this city and this state. And thank you to all of your help for being a part of that. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Mayor. Next, I'd like to welcome an integral partner in the New Mexico Media Academy, who is leading an institution that has been at the forefront, well, here comes all the wind, forefront of technical and career training for New Mexicans for decades. The CNM film program, as the mayor already alluded to, is already providing a valuable pathway to success for aspiring New Mexico crew members. Co-locating with CNM will amplify the transformation potential of the New Mexico Media Academy for both the lives of New Mexicans and also the success of the film and television industry. So we are so glad to have this partnership. Please join me in welcoming CNM President Tracy Hartzler.
Well, thank you. It is such a pleasure and an honor to be here among such distinguished partners, and I am so glad I'm not part of the club that was involved in some beach summer activities. There are no photos of me, and I'm really excited to be excluded from some of this experience. And I certainly want to echo all of the things that people have said here and all of my partners have shared here today. And I'll only add a few more that I think are also incredibly special. I know that I really appreciate the leadership of my governing board, and they've been recognized many times, but the reason I want to particularly call them out is because they value partnerships. It is very clear what is expected of me as a president of this institution, and it is to partner. It is to partner locally, statewide, and with partners across the nation. So I can't be more pleased to be able to deliver on what is expected of me and what's expected of our institution and all of the enterprise that we are able to offer to our community here. So again, I want to thank the board. This one, the preceding board members, some of whom were in that building in October, November of 2019, and it was very cold, and who are here today, and I know who are going to benefit when this facility really opens in all of its splendor. I certainly want to thank our community members, and I'm really excited that we have so many students who were here today, and I'm sure we have a permit, so we're all appropriate, because I'm big on compliance, but I really want to make sure that I really recognize our students, our faculty members, deans, so many of the staff, and I'll say the staff of all of us, from the state, the city, and the college level, who have spent many, many hours negotiating really important terms of our partnership. And so I just want to thank so many of those who were in our architect's office, who were in our project management, legal. So much work was spent to make sure that we could exercise the courage that was described in jumping into this partnership, building it together, but working through a lot of details to make sure what we have really allows all of us as partners to work to the benefit of our local and state community and to meet our industry partners' needs. So I really want to thank so many other people who are here and who have really helped bring this together. I'll dip into the weeds a little bit, but I'm really here to introduce and announce that we're moving our film production and digital media programs to this location. So many of you know we have film and media programs. We've been doing this for 20-some years. We're really proud of our history. We're really proud of the partners we work with, but we've outgrown our space, and we knew that many, many years ago. And so we had an idea. We knew we wanted to move. We spent a lot of time looking at incredible sites across our region about where we were going to plant our roots for our next phase of development. We're really excited that we're here. So we're excited we get to build on the 20 years of incredible, bright, creative programming that will continue to evolve with our new partners at the New Mexico Media Academy as well. But I really want to say we've been doing this a while, and we really look forward to our next phases. I mentioned our students earlier, so I just want to say really thank you to all of you for being here. I look forward to our next steps. I look forward to, I don't want to say groundbreaking on this nice new floor, but whatever the appropriate celebration is when we open up our Media Academy, the state's Media Academy, and move our film here. And we look forward to many, many productions here in the community that will bring so many of us here together for many, many reasons. Thanks.
Thank you, President Hartzler. So today really truly does mark a pivotal moment in the history of New Mexico and the film industry. And in addition to today's announcement of headquartering here at such an iconic site in Albuquerque, I'm thrilled to also announce the Academy's inaugural executive director, who will be the first chapter of steering the Academy's vision and legacy. Chad Burris is an experienced filmmaker, producer, lawyer, and public policy advocate. Not only did he develop the country's first private film incentive for the state of Oklahoma, he also contributed significantly to rural economic development in industry sectors including construction, healthcare, and technology. Chad's a working, seasoned filmmaker. Many of his projects have been made and will continue to be made right here in New Mexico. These include Four Sheets to the Wind, Barking Water, Mosquito Imara, Killer Inside Me, Santa Fe, Drunk Town's Finest, and most recently made in New Mexico, Fry Bread Face and Me, which actually just premiered at the South by Southwest Film Festival. Chad is an experienced attorney who's practiced in Indian law and entertainment law, and he has won numerous awards at Sundance and is a member of the Academy of Motion Picture Arts and Sciences. But above his credits and his awards, his education, his entrepreneurship, Chad is a visionary. He has unshakable passion for filmmaking and New Mexico. He sees New Mexico as becoming a global leader in film training. Chad and his wife, Julie, if you wouldn't mind standing for everyone, I know I'm gonna embarrass you here, lived here in New Mexico for over a decade, and they're finding their way back home to our beautiful state. When I told a friend of mine who's been helping us with this, that our executive director was going to be Chad, I'm gonna get emotional. He said, the Burrises have been mentoring filmmakers for the past 20 years. Isn't that fantastic? Yeah. So, we're really happy, Julie and Chad, that you're gonna be here and that you're gonna be mentoring our filmmakers, both of you. Julie is a lawyer, she's also a filmmaker herself, so we really feel like we're getting double our money. Chad knows how to take concepts and turn them into great product, like he does with his films, and that's what we will do right here at the Media Academy, creating and cultivating a concept into something truly transformational for our state. We are just beyond excited and honored to have Chad Burris. Welcome up here, Chad.
Thank you, everyone, and I have to say, it's maybe a little off topic, but does anyone else, when they step up to a microphone, just have this almost passionate desire to pause and say, I am Iron Man. Speaks to the power of films, I guess. Yeah, thank you. What an amazing opportunity. I mean, you're inside this facility, you see the scope, the scale, the size of it, only to be matched by what this new Film Academy is going to be. When I was approached by Alicia about this opportunity, I was ecstatic for the chance to come back to New Mexico and do, as Alicia said, what we've been doing for so long, which is training young creative talent. And watching that talent go off and do bigger and better things and you know, find a career and a path for themselves in this great industry. I have to thank Governor Lujan Gresham and Secretary Keyes, of course, for this opportunity, for trusting and believing in me and giving me this chance. And you know, in all the films that I've produced, I think the thing, and all this glowing praise that Alicia gave me, I would say, in all honesty, everything I've done, looking back on some of it, it is amazing what we've accomplished. But I don't do it alone. I don't do anything alone. Any film I've ever made, as you all know, have been here in the industry, it's not one person that makes a movie. It's not one singular vision. It starts as an idea, and there's so many contributors to that idea that end up making that final product the best that it can be. And this is no different. I feel like this is sort of, in a way, producing a film all on its own. There's a vision, there's a goal, there's a place we want to arrive at, and I need to have great partners. The consortium, the local film technicians, the state, the city of Albuquerque, everybody that's involved in this process is going to be a key contributor to making this the huge success that it is absolutely going to be. So I couldn't be more thrilled. We're ecstatic about coming back to New Mexico and excited about being a part of this. So with all that, thank you very much. Appreciate it.
So that concludes our event this morning. I really see this as just the next step in putting together our students with advanced education and working with our partners, our consortium partners, in order to just really provide our students in New Mexico the best of what this can be. And this is the Next Generation Media Academy. We will have 2 stages, but we will also have a volumetric stage. We will constantly push ourselves to keep up with technology, and we are so grateful to our partners, to Netflix, to NBCU, to 828 for providing these paid internships. I have no doubt in my mind that more partners will come, but this is just really the beginning of the next transformational phase in this building. So thank you for joining us, thank you for being a part of this, and thank you just being supportive of this community. Thank you.